Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel, and welcome to the very first reading vlog of 2025. I cannot believe those words just came out of my mouth. I cannot believe it's 2025. I am so excited for this year, and I'm particularly excited for all of the reading that I'm going to do this year. I have a lot of high hopes for this year. We have a lot of amazing releases coming out, and I'm really going to try to make a point to pick up books that have been on my TBR for a very long time, and pick up bucket list series and bucket list books, and books that I just think I'm going to love and I have put off for whatever reason, I don't know. That is really my main goal of this year, is to just be very particular about the books that I'm picking up and finally get to those books that I have had on my TBR for way too long. I really want to read a lot this year as well, not like rushing through books or running myself ragged trying to get through books, but I would like to read a little bit more than I did last year. I definitely, looking back at my year, I feel like I could have fit in more books. The more I read, hopefully the more I will find new amazing 5-star rearrange my brain chemistry books. So in today's video, I am going to be reading through my January TBR. I also might be doing a little bit of mood reading as well, and just take you through the first 3 books of 2025. Hopefully they are good. As you guys saw by the clip earlier, I have picked out my very first book for the year, and that is An Ember in the Ashes. So this is the first book that I am going to be vlogging. I'm currently about 12% of the way through this book. I'm on page 61. This is a YA fantasy series. This is completed. There are 4 books in the series. I feel like it's such a popular series. I'm sure a lot of people already know what this book is about, but if you don't, we are following 2 POVs, Laia and Elias. Laia comes from a group of people called the Scholars, and when they were thriving and not under the Martial Empire, the Scholars had a land of academics and libraries and university and were extremely prosperous. But when the Martial Empire took over, all of the Scholars were enslaved. Laia and her family have been extremely affected by the Martial Empire, and now she's basically just trying to get by with her family that remains. In the very beginning of the book, her brother is arrested for treason, and this essentially sets Laia off on a journey to do something, to try to save her brother and to try to stand up to the powers that be. And then we have Elias. So Elias attends the military academy in this world. He is actually the top student and he's about to graduate. But quickly, when we are in Elias's POV, it is very clear that he does not agree with the Martial Empire, with their ruling, and with what his destiny is to be. So he's kind of working through what he's going to do and how he's going to live his life moving forward. And their paths have not converged yet, but I'm sure they are going to. I cannot wait for them to meet each other. My first impressions of this book, 60 pages in, are fantastic. I'm loving this book. I'm loving this book so much. I am obsessed with the writing. It is very accessible and quick to get into, but still very detailed. I feel like I can see the world really well. I feel like I know the characters really well. I'm loving the dialogue. I just immediately connected to Saba Tahir's writing, which makes me so excited. I love finding new authors that I just gel with their writing very well. I also really like our characters. I'm rooting for both of them. I'm endlessly curious about both of them. There have been some plot twists about them already and some reveals that have like completely shaken me. So I'm excited for more of that. And I think the plot is really cool. Joining a rebellion group, standing up to the powers that be, what is going to happen? Stakes could not be higher. This book just feels right up my alley. So I'm really looking forward to continuing on with this book. My plan today is just to continue reading. It is January 1st, I'm off work, and I just want to spend the day getting lost in this book. I also feel like it's so bingeable, and you kind of just have to know what happens next. I feel like it gripped me very quickly. So far, the very first book of 2025, An Ember in the Ashes, is a hit. I'm only 60 pages in though, so we'll see how things go, but I'm gonna continue reading and then I will give you guys an update once I'm a little bit further. Hello besties. So it is a few hours later. I am so tired. Oh my god. Today is January 1st. I think I said that earlier. So last night was New Year's Eve and I did stay up until midnight so we could see the Space Needle do its thing, have her moment, fireworks, all that jazz. But it was so hard to stay up. It truly was. I just don't stay up until midnight anymore. It's just not something that I do. I used to do it all the time. I literally can't believe I used to go to like New Year's Eve parties. I've like gone out for New Year's Eve. Last night we had my sister and my nephews over. They're like little, so my nephews went to bed at like 9 or something. my husband, my sister, and I were playing Uno and just like playing card games, and we were all struggling so hard to stay awake, and I'm paying for it today. I am literally exhausted. I feel like I went on a run. I feel like I went on a hike, maybe got hit by a truck after, I don't know, but like my body hurts. My brain is mush. I'm not built for New Year's Eve. My parents actually do this thing, which I used to kind of like rag on them a little bit for, but they celebrate East Coast New Year's Eve. So like at 9 p.m. on the West Coast, they'll celebrate New Year's Eve and they'll be like, hey, cool, Happy New Year, bye, going to bed. And I used to be like, oh my God, that's so lame, because like we're on the West Coast. It's not midnight for us yet. They might have been onto something there, because I'm paying for it so much today. And I didn't even drink or anything like that. I literally am just exhausted from being awake until midnight. So today has felt like a very, very long day, and I'm kind of ready for bed. It's like 7 p.m. and I'm already thinking, maybe I'll go to bed at like 8:30 today. Who knows? But before I go to bed, I wanted to talk to you guys about An Ember in the Ashes. I am only 46% of the way through this book, and I say only because we're not even halfway through and so much has happened. Oh my God. I am not okay. I am stressed in the absolute best way. I love when a book just stresses me out so much, and this book is 100% achieving that. I love these characters. This world is so cool. Every single chapter we get a new kind of just terrible revelation and just more confusion added into the mix, and I absolutely love it. Our main characters, Laya and Elias, are also just getting weird pieces of information from new characters that they meet that kind of spins a lot of what we know on its head. Like, I've had an idea of, okay, I think these people are probably doing this for this reason. I think this person is trustworthy. And then they'll meet a character that says something else, and I'm like, oh, never mind. Actually, I have no idea. I don't know the motives of anything in this series anymore, and I don't trust anyone. I think that's how I need to be moving forward, because there have been some really wild things and also just very vague things getting dropped. I'm particularly excited about the fantasy elements that I feel like are going to start coming into play. This is a YA fantasy, but as of right now, there haven't been a lot of fantastical elements. I haven't really seen any displays of magic, but there's definitely some hints of things going on, and like our characters are questioning what they're seeing, if it's even real. So I love that. I love finding out about magic or fantastical elements like alongside characters. I think that's really cool. If that's even like accurate, because I don't know, I don't trust anyone, so maybe what I think is happening isn't even happening. But needless to say, I really like this book. I think it is so good. I have already ordered the rest of the series because I have to read it. This is a great way to start out my reading year, and I have just like the highest hopes for this whole series, and I also just have no idea what's going on in the absolute best way. So I am going to keep reading tonight if I am able to stay awake for more than like another hour or two. I want to make a bit more of a dent in this book tonight, and then maybe I will finish it tomorrow and I'll let you guys know what I think. But wish me luck. I'm very excited, but also nervous, but absolutely loving An Ember in the Ashes so far. Hello friends, happy Friday. How are we doing? I just filmed my December wrap up, which will already be up by the time you guys see this video. I think it was like the shortest wrap up ever. I think my raw footage is 17 minutes, which is crazy because my raw footage for my wrap ups is usually like 45 minutes. I don't know. I didn't have a lot to say and I only read 7 books in December. So I'll be very curious when I edit that how short that ends up being. Anyway, I figured because I have my box lights up and my ring light up, I should film a check-in for you all for this first reading vlog of 2025. So let's discuss An Ember in the Ashes. I finished her and oh my God, this book is so good. What a way to start my year. I absolutely loved this. I'm so excited to continue on with the rest of the series. This had so many elements working for me, so many things that I loved. It was extremely action-packed. It was fast-paced. We had interesting characters. We had like tiny snippets, like just a whisper of romance really, but I'm excited to see more of that. I felt tension between our characters, which was great. I was shocked by the cruelty, the audacity, the there are people in this book who I hate, and I love that. I love having a new book villain. I just think that this is amazing, like truly, truly amazing. And not that YA fantasy books can't be like incredibly written and wonderful and epic, but this didn't even really feel like a YA book. Other than the fact that our main character Laya is 17, I didn't really feel a whole lot of those YA feelings, and I just think this is a really good fantasy book, and I think you should pick it up if you haven't. I'm, once again, one of the last people on earth to read this book because I feel like it is so, so popular, but it just really, really worked for me, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. The setup for book 2 is so good. I am like kicking my feet thinking about what's going to happen in book 2. I loved the ending. I loved how intense everything was, how many twists, how many turns. This is going to be amazing. And I think it's going to ruin my life a little bit because people are saying that when you continue on with the series, the books are really crazy and really intense and really emotional, and Saba Tahir is a bit ruthless, which I love. I love when an author can absolutely destroy you a little bit and stomp on your heart. So I'm really looking forward to that. I am giving this book 4 stars. It's a really strong 4-star. I think the reason it's not a 5-star is, one, if I don't get that 5-star feeling, that overwhelming, oh my god, I'm obsessed feeling, I don't give it 5 stars. And I think really the only thing that I can point to is there were some action scenes that I just felt went on a little too long and I lost interest in. I was so obsessed with the psychological warfare happening in this book, the plotting, the scheming, also the survival of one of our characters throughout this entire book. Those were the plot points that I was really obsessed with and really engaged with. There were a couple of action scenes that I was kind of just like, okay, like I'm ready for this to be done, and just to like get back to what is going to happen next, what really tense moment is our character going to be in that could potentially turn out really wrong, and like sneaking around and just all these things. So that's really the only reason it's not a 5-star, but a very strong 4-star. I loved this book so much. I'll probably pick up book 2 pretty soon. I need to know what happens next, and I could definitely see myself giving a book in the series 5 stars if it just continues to get better and better, because I just feel like this series is gonna be so good and I really loved this. So an amazing way to start out my year. All right, and then very quickly before I move on to my next book, I did do a little reread, and I didn't really vlog it because I've actually already vlogged this book, but I needed to do a reread of The Witch Collector because I want to read the sequel, City of Ruin, very soon, but I needed to refresh myself because I've not read this book for quite a while and I wanted to be as fresh as possible on the details, because I know that City of Ruin has like a really, really crazy plot twist and people like freak out about that book. I want to be as fresh as possible going into it for that reason. So I did reread The Witch Collector. This is a witchy fantasy romance between a witch and the witch collector who every, I want to say 15 years, comes to this witch village and selects one of the witches and takes them off to God only knows where. And our main character, Reyna, her sister, was taken by the witch collector several years ago, and Reyna has been plotting her revenge ever since, and she plans to have the witch collector take her to her sister and then I think end him or whatever, but things go awry and the two of them end up having to team up together and survive because there is another enemy at play who is after both of them. So upon reread, I actually liked this book a little bit less. And I don't know if that has ever happened to me when I've reread a book before. I usually like the book either the same or even more because, like, hello, I'm rereading it, and usually I only reread books that I really, really enjoy. But I gave this book 4 stars the first time I read it, but I gave it 3 stars this time around. I think that partially had to do with the romance. One, this is not enemies to lovers, friends to lovers. It's kind of reluctant allies to lovers. I don't really know what to call it. It's kind of just two people who meet and they're a little wary of each other at first, but then they quickly start getting along and fall for each other. And not every fantasy romance book has to be an enemies to lovers romance. And that is not why I don't like the romance. I just think that this book lacked tension and buildup. And I think that you can have like 2 very reasonable people who are not enemies work together and get to know one another and not have a very dramatic romantic shift. And you can still have tension and you can still have buildup. You can still have that giddy, excited feeling. And I think that that lacked in this book. And I really wanted more of that. I really like our characters. I like Alexis. I like Reyna. But I think that there is just a lack of, you know, that feeling, that excitement in a romance. I just felt that the romance overall was like one of the least interesting things about this book, which makes me sad because I want the fantasy to feel important and I want the romance to feel important. But what I did really like is the side characters in this book. I'm such a side character girl. I'm realizing this about myself. Like all of my favorite series, I'm like, the main characters, they're fine, but the side characters, like the Lady of Darkness series is a series that I really like. It's probably like a 4-star series series for me, but the side characters in that series are 5-star, 6-star characters to me, and the main characters in that series are like my least favorite characters. And I feel like in this book, I am much more interested in what the side characters are going to do in that same way. So I'm excited to continue on to book 2, and then I know there's also a novella called The Wolf and the Witch, I want to say. I'm really excited for that. I have hope for this series. I think it has potential. There's a lot of world building and history and lore and gods, and there's a lot going on in this book. It's not like an easy breezy fantasy romance that you pick up and have fun and put down and never think about again. There's quite a bit of backstory going on here. So I'm excited for book 2 because everyone says it's really amazing and blows their mind. So I definitely want to get to that very soon. Okay, so now let's move on to the next book I'm going to be reading in this vlog, which I'm going to start reading tonight. And that is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. I am so excited for this book. This is also YA. We're having a bit of a YA moment. The Witch Collector is not YA, by the way. That is an adult book. But this is, I want to say it's like YA magical realism, dark academia, mystery, romance question mark. Okay, down here we have a little bit of a description. Part historical fantasy, part rivals to lovers romance, and part gothic mystery, the feminist fairy tale has captivated readers with its haunting, dreamlike atmosphere. I love gothic fantasy, and anything with a romance subplot does have me excited. There's also a quote on the back, but if fairies and monsters were real, so were the women who defeated them. I'm excited. That sounds really fun. I really don't know what else to expect with this book, but I'm looking forward to it. This is just a book that's been on my TBR for way too long. It's also on my 25 books to read in 2025, so we are working our way down that list. I will not do what I did in 2024, which is I only read like 7 of those books. At the end of this year, we will be doing an in-review 2025 TBR book list video. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm making no sense. I've talked way too much today, but this is gonna be my next book, and I will let you guys know my first impressions tomorrow. Hi besties, how are we doing? So I have a very exciting update for you all. Number one, we need to talk about my current read, which is A Study in Drowning. And then after that, we're gonna do an unboxing. I have a lot of books, a lot of boxes that I've had for weeks. One of these boxes I've had for over a month. I was going to film like a separate unboxing video, but then I just wanted to put it in this vlog. Also, the next book that I wanna pick up in this vlog is somewhere in one of these boxes. So that has motivated me to do this unboxing in this vlog as well. So I'm very excited to do that. But first, let's talk about A Study in Drowning. I am 40% of the way done with this book. I did talk about what this book was about in my last check-in, but now that I've read a little bit of it, just very briefly, we are following Effie. She attends a university and she is in the architecture program. She is the only woman in the architecture program. Only one woman is allowed to be in that program. She wanted to be in the literary program, but women are not allowed to be in the literature program. So this is a very misogynistic society, university, and women are seen as much less than men in this world. In the beginning of the book, Effie sees an opportunity to redesign and work on the home of her recently deceased favorite author. This is her all-time favorite author. She absolutely loves him. His son has put up a post at the university for the architecture program for someone to come and show them their designs and do some work on his estate. Effie is selected and she is very excited to not only have this opportunity, but also to get away from the university and also walk around the estate of her favorite author who she absolutely idolizes. When she gets there, there's another student there and his name is Preston. He is in the literary program. The two of them are kind of adversaries in the beginning. Not really, they just get off to a bumpy start, but they do quickly form a friendship despite Preston's reason for being there. So Preston is at the estate because he believes that Effie's favorite author may be a fraud. Preston doesn't believe that her favorite author did write his most iconic book or didn't write everything that he says that he did. Effie is very turned off by this at first, but they kind of come to an agreement which will benefit Effie and her ability to get into the literary program. So she decides to go along with him, and Preston and Effie do some research and do some digging to find out if her author is truly the one who published all of these amazing works. There is also an element of like fae and fairy. There is a mystery element, and where I'm at in the book, I'm very shocked. I'm very surprised by what I'm about to say. I'm not really liking this. And I thought that I was going to love this book. I was so excited. I have heard glowing things about this, and it's just not really working for me. And I keep waiting for it to click. I keep waiting to get really invested in the characters and the story, but I am finding this book to be kind of bland and kind of boring. I don't know, that's so like subjective. It's hard to describe, but sometimes the book clicks with you, sometimes it doesn't, and I'm just really not like vibing with this book. I really don't think that the characters are all that interesting. I don't know. I do think there are some relatable quotes and there are experiences that Effie has had and is talking about that I can totally relate to, and I can appreciate the way that the author is writing about it, but I still just as a whole am not super in on this book. I also find kind of the direction where things are going to be very predictable. That happens sometimes, and sometimes that doesn't bother me. Some of my favorite books have very predictable endings, but it's the way that the author writes it. It's the little details, it's the character development, it is how we get there, the journey that I'm very invested in, and I find this journey to be pretty boring. So I'm a little bit sad about that because I seriously thought this was going to be like a 4 or a 5-star read. I'm not vibing with it so far. I do think it is well written, like very, very well written, and like I said, very nice quotes in this book, but that's just not really doing enough for me to be excited about this book. But I'm going to keep reading. I'll probably finish this book today, to be honest, because I kind of just want to get to the end, see how things end up, and maybe things will go better. I don't know, but that's where I'm at with The Study in Drowning so far. Okay, let's move on to much more exciting things. We're gonna do a bit of an unboxing. So the first one I already started opening, then I was like, oh, I should vlog this with the besties. So first up, we have my Romantasy Fairy Loot pick, and I do know what this book is. I did talk about in a vlog, I wanna say like a month ago, where I said, oh, I think I'm gonna cancel my Fairy Loot Romantasy subscription because the books have not been very good. Like the picks that they've had just haven't been books that I'm really all that interested in. However, then I found out what the December book pick was going to be, which is this one. And I also have found out what the January and February picks are going to be, and I'm interested in both of those. So I don't know, I think that Fairy Loot is kicking off their 2025 with really good picks, and I hope that that is a trend that continues. So I'm gonna keep my subscription for a little bit longer and we'll see kind of where things go. But I'm so excited about this. This is one of my favorite books of all time. So the theme is, A Love Most Divine, and I'm so excited to see this book. I have seen a few people show it on Instagram, but I usually just like swipe away as soon as I can tell what it is. So this is Heavenly Bodies by Imani Iru. This is absolutely gorgeous, like so insane. I love what they did here. If you've read the book, if you know, you know, like such a great theme. On the back it says, I would turn the world to darkness for you. Heavenly Bodies was originally an indie fantasy romance that I read, I want to say back in like 2022. It has been since picked up by a traditional publisher, and I'm really excited to do a reread of it and get the second book once that comes out. I think either at the end of this year or early next year. But oh my god, this is so pretty. Oh my god, you guys. Oh my god, okay. Oh my god. I am like, every single time I open these, I'm just shocked. Look at this naked hardcover. This is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my god, okay, I just need to show you guys. Look at that. That is insane. This is a celestial fantasy romance. Look at the spine. That is crazy. Okay, and then the reverse is, oh, I think this is just the US cover, I want to say, but in purple. I think it's blue. I'm definitely going to keep this dust jacket on though. And then look at the end pages. This is amazing. Those are our two main characters. Like, if this picture doesn't make you want to pick up the book, I don't really know what else will. And then, oh my god, this is so beautiful. Oh, I cannot wait to reread this. Oh my god. This makes me so excited. This is truly insane. Also signed by the author. This is literally one of my favorite editions that Fairy Loot has ever done. They absolutely killed it. I'm glad I did not cancel my subscription because, oh my god, this needs like a, I need to make this a like, she's getting a spotlight moment on my shelf. I honestly need to like reorganize my shelves, but I just, that's such a task that I would have to undertake. So I might just put this somewhere special. Okay, moving on. We are now moving on to my Melissa K. Rorick book mail. I have 2 packages that I ordered from her website. So she sends this little card with her characters. So cute. Oh, okay. This is very exciting, you guys. So this is, I don't even know how to describe this. So this is called Treasure of Darkness. It's a Lady of Darkness compilation. Let me look at the content. So the recommended reading order, chronological reading order, all of the bonus chapters that she has ever written for the Lady of Darkness series. And then there are Darkness interviews. Something that she does is she will like interview her characters, which is so much fun. There are a ton, there's like over 10 of them. And then there is an explanation of the world. So there's the fire court, the water court, wind, earth, the mortal lands, other magical territories, Avonlea, the gods, the spirit animals. So kind of like breaking down her worlds and what qualities are unique to them and all of that. So it's kind of just like a collector's item, and I really wanted this. She announced this, I want to say like a year ago, and that it was only going to be at book signings, but then she put it on her website finally, and I just think it is so cool. It's really, really beautiful. It's just a hardcover, no dust jacket, and oh my god, look it. There's also this character art, which is amazing. Oh yeah, and then like the water court, there's art for that explanation and like who's in charge and more character art. So cute. This honestly makes me want to reread the Lady of Darkness series. I'm not going to do that anytime soon. I can't do too many rereads this year because there's just so many other books I need to read. But oh, I love that. The first meeting, Rozik's POV. If you know, you know. Rozik is one of my absolute favorite characters in the Lady of Darkness series. I love that man. So this is very exciting. All right, so I have another package from Melissa K. Rourke's website. So this is the next book that I will be reading in this vlog. I'm so excited to get to this book. And it is book 3 in the Legacy series, Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance. I am so excited to read this book. This is one of the books that I am most excited to read this year. It's definitely a 5-star prediction. I've given every book in the Legacy series 5 stars. Oh my god, she included so many goodies. Oh, I love this. Okay, let me show you guys. So I got a bookmark, Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance themed, a couple of stickers, and then this is our main character in the Legacy series. Ooh, this is the hardcover. Oh my god, I'm so excited to read this. I've heard the last line of this book is insane, and I'm scared in the best way. Oh, and then she signed it. It says, "Be wild and untamed." I feel like this book is going to be insane because the second book, the way it ends, is definitely like a turning point for our main character. So I'm really excited to read this. After I finish A Study in Drowning, I'm gonna dive straight into this. All right, next package, we have The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I am so excited. Ooh, that smells really good. I'm so excited to read this. Obviously, this is part of the Hunger Games world. It is a spin-off standalone from the Hunger Games, and it's a prequel. It is Cornelius Snow's story, kind of how he came to be, how he came up. I'm so curious about this because I feel like this is a very polarizing book. I've seen people love it and be like, this is incredible, and I've seen people absolutely hate it, and I don't know why that is. So I'll be curious to try this. I feel like I'm going to like it. I love a backstory. I love a prequel. Even if it's a character who's like terrible, like I think that's so interesting. I'll be curious to see how I feel about this. All right, and then I have City of Lies and Legends. This is book 3 in the House of Devils series, the first book being City of Gods and Monsters. I recently reread that. It's a 3-star read, but I've heard that the series gets really great once you get to the second and third book. People say this book in particular is like incredible. I'm excited to continue on with it. I love the yellow spine, so pretty. Oh, and then I have The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. This is an epic fantasy with dragons. I've just seen really great things about it, so I want to read more epic fantasy this year, which is why I picked this up. This is, this is my self-tanner. If anyone wants to know what self-tanner I use Loving Tan Platinum, and it's the ultimate self-tanning mousse, professional strength, quick dry. So I get questions about self-tan sometimes. This is my favorite. I just get it from Amazon. I also think you can get it at Ulta. And then I also got a new tanning mitt. Oh my god, these are so pretty. Oh my god, okay, I'm so excited. We have A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. I don't know what book this is. I don't even want to look at the back because I'm afraid of being spoiled. I think this is the finale. A Sky Beyond the Storm, I want to say. I'll have to look these up on Goodreads. And then I also got A Reaper at the Gates. This might be book 2, actually. Well, I don't know. One of these two is book 2. I'm literally not even gonna look at the backs because I'm so afraid of being spoiled. I've made it this far without being spoiled for this series, so. But these are so pretty. I probably have these totally in the wrong order. Yes, absolutely. Oh, actually, is this the right order? 2, 3, 4. I might have just put them in the right order. I don't know. Gorgeous. They make like an image on the spines. I really love these editions. All right, besties, that is it. I've unboxed. We've talked about A Study in Drowning. I'm gonna finish that book and we'll see how I feel when it ends. But then I honestly think I'm just gonna dive straight into A Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance after, because I'm really excited for that. So we will talk probably later today when I have more thoughts for you guys. Hi everyone, how are we? So, as you guys saw in the B-roll, I did a little bit of a bookshelf reorganization. I'm so happy with it. It was just a nice little refresh, and I am particularly obsessed with this shelf right here. I just think the colors are so beautiful. I also did a reorganization of this shelf, which I didn't really show on camera, I don't think, but I love how this looks. I made a point to prioritize all of my favorite fantasy romance books to be surrounding me when I'm filming, because I need those books by my side at all times, and I just really like the way that it looks. So let's talk about my current reads. I realized I did not give you guys final thoughts on A Study in Drowning, which is crazy because I'm already like so far into A Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance. But before we get to that, let me do my final thoughts on A Study in Drowning. I'm very sad, but I didn't really like this book, honestly. I was not into the story. The characters never really became interesting to me. The story itself and the mystery just did not pull me in. I really was not engaged. And I can recognize the very beautiful quotes. I can recognize the prose is very pretty, but I don't know. I didn't connect. I never got there with this book. I really did not care where the story was going. I felt like as I was finishing this book, I was just finishing it to get to the end. I wasn't like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. I did find the ending pretty predictable anyway, but I just never really connected to this story. And I'm so surprised by that, because I seriously thought this was going to be a 4 or a 5-star read for me, but I'm going to give this book 2 stars. I didn't like it. And while I can definitely see the merit in it, I don't think it is a bad book. I think that I am just not the reader for it. And so yeah, it's getting a 2-star from me. My first 2-star of 2025. Did not expect it to be this book. Now, moving on to a book that absolutely is my type of read. We have book 3 in the Legacy series, Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance. I am obsessed. I am in love. Luca. Oh my god, Luca. End of sentence. Moving on. Like, I love Luca so much. Luca is one of the main characters in this series, and he is everything to me. He has been my favorite since book 1, and he has remained my favorite since book 1. And anytime his POV comes up, I am so excited. And I just love the way that the story is going. I love what Melissa K. Rourke is doing. She has built such an amazing and layered world. There are so many conflicts. The stakes are so high. There's so much political maneuvering going on, and so much like magical history, lore things happening. If you know, you know. And I'm just absolutely obsessed with book 3. I feel like these characters just mean the world to me, and this series is just my absolute favorite dark fantasy romance, and every single book is good. I have not felt disappointed by any of the 3 books that are out so far. I just cannot recommend the series enough. If you don't know what it is about, it is a dark fantasy romance, so if you are not a dark romance reader, I would definitely caution you picking this book up. I am not a dark romance reader, but for some reason, this just works for me, so that's going to be very subjective for everyone, but definitely check out the trigger warnings. But this series follows a world of Fae and Legacy, and essentially Legacy are like Fae, but more powerful, higher up in society, and the Fae were created by the gods to be sources for the Legacy. So Fae get assigned to Legacy and basically exist to just give them power, to give them whatever they need, and this creates obviously a huge imbalance in equality, and Fae are not happy with this dynamic, but it is the way that things go in this world. In the beginning of the book, we meet our main character Tessa. She is a Fae, and she is assigned to Theon, who is I think he's the Arius He's either the Arius or the Akaz heir. I think he's the Arius heir. And those are just different lineages from gods and different types of powers and different houses. So Theon is the heir of the Arius house, and the Arius kingdom is like the biggest, the baddest, the scariest. People don't really even know what goes on there, but they just know that you don't want to go there. So when Tessa gets assigned to him, she is absolutely terrified, and the two of them have to work to make some type of dynamic between them, work for both of them, and be agreeable, be around each other. But Tessa is a very reckless and chaotic and unexpected character. You never know what she's going to do next. She has been through so much, and she is very strong. And Theon has to figure out how he is going to make this legacy and Fae dynamic work. That is how the story starts. That is kind of where things go in the beginning, but so much more is happening. There is so much going on in the background. There is so much that gets revealed in each book that just shows how much plotting and planning this author is doing. And I just think that this world is endlessly fascinating. We also have witches, we have vampires, we have dragon shifters. It's also set in a more modern world. I guess you could call it an urban fantasy. I feel like we don't focus too much on being in an urban setting, which I feel like is a hallmark of an urban fantasy, but they have cell phones and things feel very modern. So it's not like a classic kind of medieval fantasy, if that is something that you're looking for. So I am currently on chapter 29. As you can see, I am over the halfway point, and I'm so excited to get to the ending of this book. I know it's going to be absolutely crazy. And then the finale of the Legacy series comes out in 2025, I want to say in August, which is so wild. I can't believe the series is going to be over so quickly, but I know that this author has like 8 more series planned in the works, and they're all connected. All of her series exist in the same universe, they're just in different worlds, so there's just lots of fun little connections you can make. I love Melissa K. Rorick. She is a new auto-buy author for me, and the Legacy series is absolutely incredible. 10 out of 10 recommend. I do get this comment anytime I mention the Legacy series, so I will just put it here. You do not have to read the Lady of Darkness series in order to read this. I think if both series are on your TBR, read the Lady of Darkness series first and then go on to the Legacy series, but you do not have to. The author has said you do not have to. There are connections, but you will fully understand what's going on. I've had lots of friends go into the Legacy series first and have not read the Lady of Darkness series, but they really enjoyed it and were aware of what was going on. Definitely pick up the first book in the series, Reign of Shadow and Endings. Oh my god, it is so good, and just enjoy the absolute chaos. This is a very intense, crazy, cliffhangers everywhere, plot twists everywhere series, but that is why I love it so much. And just Luca, once again, I started my check-in for this book talking about Luca, and I'm gonna end it with Luca. I love Luca, and he is everything to me, and I love the connections that we're getting. I'm not gonna say too much because I want you to discover Luca for yourself, but that is my fave. He is my absolute favorite character in this series. So this is going really well. I think I'm gonna try to finish this either today or tomorrow. I really wanna know how it ends, and then we will wrap this vlog up. So that is going to be it for me. I'm gonna go read more of this, and we will talk soon. Hi, oh my god, okay, I am 97% of the way through Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance. I'm gonna finish it in like 15 minutes. I needed to take a pause though because I am not okay. I'm so nervous for this book to end. Things are going really badly, and I'm so scared. I'm so scared to finish it. Emmy told me the last line of the book is insane. Where I'm at is insane, so I'm terrified for whatever that means. This book has been crazy. This is like the plotting, the planning, the betrayal. I'm in love. I absolutely love this series so much. It is a like perfect 6-star series for me, and every book is so good. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. Also obsessed, chapter 35. If you read this book, chapter 35, how were you during that chapter? I was not okay. I couldn't breathe when it finished. I changed on a molecular level, I'm pretty sure, after finishing that chapter. This book is a masterpiece. Amazing, perfect. I've just loved every second, and now I'm scared. I'm so scared to finish this. Like I really, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like that is what I love, is this series is so unpredictable. We are on a ride right now, and I'm literally like putting off finishing the book because I just know I'm about to get emotional whiplash of some kind. I don't know what's gonna happen. I need to finish this book. I literally have like 20 pages left, and I'm so scared, but I will talk to you guys after I have finished Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance. You guys, oh my God, that was so good. Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance was so good. Are you kidding me? The final line of that book. First of all, didn't even think that that was an option. Like, that is not something that I ever in a million years could have got to on my own. Like, the implications of the final line of that book are insane. Honestly, like, yeah, but also, like, of course that's what's been going on. And like, this is what this situation is. It makes no sense and makes so much sense. And I cannot believe Melissa K. Rorick's mind. She is insane in the best way. Highest compliment, truly. I loved that so much. It was so good. 3 books down in the Legacy series, 1 more to go. There is not a single filler book that's kind of like, oh, a little slumpy, but then the story picks up in the next book. No, all 3 books that are out so far are incredible. She doesn't like waste any time. Everything is important. Every POV matters. I'm obsessed. This series is so good. Oh my God. 5 stars. Obviously, first 5-star of the year. I'm so excited. It is January 8th and I already have a 5-star. That is so exciting. I loved that so much. I cannot wait for August. That is when the final book comes out. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so crazy. On multiple levels, it's going to be insane. Honestly, the last like 15% of that book was crazy. I mean, the whole thing was crazy, but then the last 15%, like the hits just kept coming. And she's just so creative. It's such a creative world and there are so many layers and powers and beings and people. Like, the cast of characters is huge and it all just like makes so much sense. I'm obsessed with her brain, honestly. I love this series so much. Oh my God, it is perfection to me. 6-star series. Like, I'm in love. Oh my God, that was so good. Also, the Luca girls. Like, if you are a Luca girly, this is our book. This book was for us. Everyone was important in this book, but I feel like he just really shined and I loved that. I loved every single second of it. So that is going to be it for this first reading vlog of 2025. Honestly, a banger, right? I mean, we did have a 2-star and we did have a reread that did not go as expected, but started with a 4-star, ended with a 5-star. A win is a win. I had so much fun in this reading vlog. Honestly, this was one of my favorite reading vlogs to film in such a long time. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. And yeah, it's gonna be a really good year. I feel really good. Watch, like, my next 5 reads are gonna be 2 stars. No, I won't do that to myself. I'm not putting that out in the universe. Pretend I never said that. Okay, I'm gonna end the video now. If you made it to this point in the video and you wanted to let me know, please leave the dragon emoji. Please make sure that you're following me on Instagram and Goodreads. They are always linked down below. I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I love you all so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one.